Welcome to Introduction to Maya series. I'm your instructor Rohan Page. In this video tutorial, our objective is to learn about manipulation tools, object navigation, pivot point, duplicate, groups, and layers in Maya. So let's start with the session. Maya have three manipulation tools. These manipulation tools are available at the left side of your interface. First manipulation tool is Move tool. Move tool is used to move the surfaces in 3D space. To use it, you need to select the tool first, then select the surface. You will get 3 axes which will help you to manipulate surface in 3D space. If you want to manipulate this surface in y-axis, then move your cursor to the green color. This is y-axis. As soon as you will move this cursor, that axis will turn into a yellow color. Hold left mouse button and move it. With the help of this axis, you can move any surface in upward or downward axis. If you want to move this surface in x-axis, then move your cursor to x-axis, that is represented in red color. Hold left mouse button and move it. You can move this surface in z-axis also. Move your cursor to blue color axis. Hold left mouse button and move it in z-axis. As soon as you will move the surface in 3D space, the channel box will display the units in those respective channels. Next manipulation tool is Rotate tool. Select the Rotate tool. Select the object which you want to rotate. If you want to zoom in or frame the selected surface, then press F. Surface will be brought to the center of the interface. You can see over here, rotation tool is represented with circular manipulators. If you want to rotate this particular surface in x-axis, then move your cursor to red line, hold left mouse button and rotate. If you want to rotate this surface into z-axis, then move your cursor to blue color axis and rotate. In this way, you can change the orientation of any surface in a 3D space. As soon as you are changing the orientation angle of the surface, that value is going to be represented in channel box. To reset the position of rotation for this surface, select all 3 axes and mention value 0. Your surface rotation will get to the default position. Next manipulation tool is Scale tool. Select the tool, select the surface. With the help of Scale tool, you can resize the surface in any axis. If you want to resize the shape in x-axis, move your cursor to this red dot and it will change the width of the surface. If you want to increase or decrease the height of the surface, then move your cursor to the green color box and scale it. You can scale it in z-axis also. Hold on z-axis box and move the mouse. Scaling the surface axis-wise will not scale it proportionally, so that you can bring back the size of the surface to default position by mentioning the one value in scale XYZ channel box. Now, if you want to scale the surface proportionally, then select the surface. At the center, you have a blue color box. Move your cursor to the center of the surface. It will turn into a yellow color. Hold left mouse button and then drag the mouse. It will scale the surface proportionally. So these are the three manipulation tools available in Maya. The shortcut or hotkey to toggle between these transformation tools are hold or press W on your keyboard for move tool. Press E on your keyboard for rotation tool. Press R on your keyboard for scale. The next part we will see is about pivot point. Whenever you will select any surface, the manipulator is situated at the center of the surface. This is what the pivot point of the surface. Object orientation and size works according to the pivot point. Change in the pivot point will make the changes in the manipulation. First, see how to change the pivot point. As you can see, if the pivot point is at the center of the object, then the object will rotate around its own pivot point. If you will scale the surface, it will scale in both the axes as the pivot point is at the center. To change the pivot point, press Insert on your keyboard, move to any orthographic view. I will move to front view. I want to place this pivot point at the bottom area of the surface. With the help of manipulator, move that pivot point. Go to perspective view. To come out of pivot point edit mode, press Insert again. As you can observe, the pivot of the surface is changed to the bottom area. It is not going to affect the translation of the surface, but it will affect the rotation and size. If I will press E for rotation tool and change the orientation of surface, you can see the change in the orientation. Now the surface is orienting around this pivot point. If I will scale in y-axis, it will only affect the upper area of this cube. To change the pivot point again, you can go to any any view, press Insert on your keyboard, place the pivot point according to your requirement, press Insert to come out of edit mode, and then rotate. You can see how it is affecting the orientation. If you want to move the pivot point to the center of the surface, then select the surface. Go to Modify, choose Center Pivot option. This option will snap the pivot of the surface to the center of surface. In next session, we are going to see how to duplicate the surfaces. To duplicate the surface, first of all, select the surface. I am resizing it as I want to make a fence. I'll place this particular surface. Now I have this particular block. I want to duplicate it. To duplicate any object in Maya, first select the surface, then select the translation tool, go to Edit and choose Duplicate Command. To duplicate command, there is a hotkey, Ctrl D. Select the option. Another object will be duplicated, which you can move with the help of Translate tool. If you want to duplicate multiple objects, then select those surfaces, go to Edit, Duplicate, or press Ctrl D on your keyboard. After executing duplicate command, move those duplicated surface with the help of Translate tool. The next option which we will see is Duplicate with Offset. Duplicate with Offset is used to duplicate or to execute the duplicate command with the same offset. Let us see how it works. Before executing Duplicate with Offset command, first you need to select the surface. Choose Translation tool. First use Duplicate command. Ctrl D. Move the surface. Now as you can see, I have moved this cube at this distance. Now if you want to duplicate this particular block with the same distance, then Duplicate with Offset command is used. Go to Edit and choose the option called as Duplicate with Transform. Shift D is the shortcut. You can see one duplicate has been generated with the same distance. Press Shift D for the multiple duplicate with same distance. Let us see another example. I will delete these surfaces. I will keep this block only. It not only works with translation but also works with rotation. I'll go to any orthographic view like front or side. Change the pivot and place it at the bottom of the surface. Now you can see the rotation will be like this. Go to Perspective. First execute Duplicate command with Ctrl D. Rotate it according to your requirement. Then press Shift D. The object will get duplicated with the same angle. In next session, we will see groups. I will delete this surface. Group command is used when you want to place multiple objects into a single group. Let us see how to do that. For example, I have one box I have one sphere, one cylinder. I want to place these three separate objects into one group. First, select the surfaces which you want to place into one group. Then go to Edit, Group. A shortcut key to perform group command is Ctrl G. As soon as you will execute the group command, all the objects will be placed into one group and the pivot of the group will be snapped to the origin of the grid. To move the pivot point of the group to the center, go to Modify, choose Center Pivot. Now you can move all three objects in a single group. You can rename the group. To rename the group, you can go to Channel Box. There you will find the name of a group, that is Group 1. With the help of left mouse button, click over there and rename the group according to your requirement. Let us rename the group as a primitive. If you will click outside of the group and now select the group, you will see the only single object is getting selected. To select the group again, press up arrow. So the group is selected. Now you can again move the surface or rotate the surface, or you can resize all the surfaces proportionally. To ungroup all these objects, first select the group, go to Edit, choose Ungroup command. So now all the objects are moved out of the group. In next session, we will see layers. Maya have three types of layers. Layer editor is divided at the channel box. There are three types of layers available in Maya. The first is display layer, second is render layer, and third is anim layer. In this video, we are going to learn about display layer. Right now, there is no layer. To create a new layer, you can go to Layers option and choose Create Empty Layer. Choose this option. It will create one empty layer. The name of the layer is Layer 1. As you can see, there is a alphabet V available at the start of the layer. V is the acronym used for visibility. Right now the layer is empty, so nothing is getting affected. I want to place sphere surface in this layer. To add any object into the layer, select it, select the layer, right click on that layer and choose Add Selected Object. This will add the selected surface into the layer. Now if I'll click on the V alphabet, it will affect the visibility of the surface. If you click, it will get invisible. If you again click at that area, it will make the visible the content of that layer. There is another way to create a layer and add surface into it. Go to layers. There is an option called as create layer from selected. This means you need to select the surface first, then go to layers menu, choose the menu called as create layer from selected. This will not only create the layer but also adds the surfaces which is selected. The layer 2 is generated and the surface is already included in that layer. To perform the same action, you can select the layer, go to layers, create layer from selected. Now layer 3 is generated and cylinder is placed in that layer. To rename the layer, you can select that layer, double click over it, rename the layer. I will rename it as sphere. Save. Select the layer, double click over it, rename it. Select the layer, rename it. Now at the third box, which is empty over here in the layer box, if I'll click with the single mouse click in the sphere layer, you can see the T alphabet is there and the content is turned into wireframe display. T is used as an acronym for template. If the layer content is in template mode, then the object will be seen in wireframe mode and you will not be able to select it or modify it. If you'll again click at that area in the layer, the object is displayed in the shaded mode and represented with the R alphabet. R is used as an acronym of reference. So object in reference mode will not be edited. You can see the object in shaded mode, but you cannot modify it. If you want to come out of it, again click over here. Now your object can be selected and can be modified. At the last box, if you click at the last box, this last box is used to change the color of the wireframe. If you press 4 on your keyboard, you can see all the objects are displayed with a blue color wireframe. So if you click on the sphere layer, choose the color which you want for the wireframe of that content, save it. You can observe that the sphere is represented with the red color mesh. With the help of this thing, you can mention different colors for the different objects for the identification purpose. To perform the same action, I'll go to cube layer, click at this area, choose the color which you want to see for the wireframe of the content and save. Select the surface, go to that particular layer, click on the color section, choose the color which you want to display and save. If you don't want any color for the mesh or wireframe, you can again go to that color box, choose none and save. It will turn to the default blue option. If you want to remove any content from the layer, then go to the respective layer, right click and choose empty the layer. Empty the layer option will remove all the content from that layer. If you want to remove only selected object from the layer, then select that object, go to layers, right click and choose remove selected object so that it will remove the selected surface from the content. If you want to empty the whole layer, then you can go to that layer, right click empty. So it will remove all the content of that layer. As you can see, the layer is empty now. The only active layer is cylinder, while cube and sphere layers are inactive. There is no content in that layer. So you can go to layers menu and choose delete unused layers. So it will delete those layers which are empty. At the display layer channel, you can observe there is only one layer, that is cylinder. In this way, you can create display layers and add or remove the surface from it. In next lecture, we will see how to use this manipulation tool, duplicate tool to create a basic object. Thank you.